Welcome to the Orange Flag podcast. McLaren released its hypercar and, well, it's orange. So we're just going to talk about Laguna Seca instead. I'm Aries.
I'm Austin.
I'm Nicole. Yes, Laguna Seca. It's an IMSA round or a IMSA GTP round, so I was there. I flew in on Thursday to San Francisco. Everyone's like, "Oh, why didn't you fly into Monterey?" Well, to fly into Monterey, you need to fly into San Francisco first, and then it's another flight, which is more expensive than renting a car for the 90-minute drive. It's 90 minutes from SFO to
Oh,
downtown Monterey.
doesn't make
It's
sense.
not like it makes zero sense. Now, yeah, if you are a driver that can charter a plane or whatever, like I'm sure that flying into Monterey makes sense, but like for me it didn't make sense. And then like I had other people asking, "Oh, why aren't you staying in downtown Monterey?" Well, I stayed in, a cheaper hotel in Monterey, but like 8 minutes from downtown, um for like $600 total. The hotels in downtown Monterey, there's like 3 of them, and they're all like $600 a night. Like, why would I stay downtown? I can drive, park for $2, and walk around downtown, which is what I did Thursday when I got there. I checked into my hotel, and I was like, I want to go sightseeing. It's really rare that I have this full day where I'm, not doing it, because with the way that the flights were, it's like, well, I can either fly out Thursday morning, or I can take the same flight out Friday. Because, like, the Thursday midday flights, I was like, it's just going to be terrible with traffic and everything. I don't want to do that. And had I done Friday morning, I would have been really rushed to, get to the hotel, get to the track. I wouldn't have been able to do anything, like, go get breakfast, anything. And I just ended up taking this Thursday morning flight. So I get, probably 2 in the afternoon to Monterey, and I'm like, there's this really nice walking path thing. I'll just go take a walk and see like all these different, you know, fisherman's wharf and like seals and just touristy things. At some point I'll do a social media dump on that, but like Monterey without IMSA there, or without, like obviously IndyCar goes there as well, like seems like it would be a really cool little town to do like a long weekend in. Um Lots of really nice little restaurants, shops, like everything. Like everywhere I walked it was like, oh, here's some cool shops, here's some cool restaurants. And my parents, like 2 years ago, were out here, so they were telling me, oh, we went to this one place for breakfast. So one of the restaurants that I went to over the course of the weekend was this one called Turn 12, and it was like racing themed. So they had like all of these race posters and various pictures of race cars and stuff up there. Some of the menu was racing themed. There was one thing and it was called like RP's White Pizza, so naturally I had to like ask some people we know at PPM. I'm like, is this like RP, like RP, or like just some random RP? Like, does he have a signature white pizza that we are all unaware of? I didn't get it. I got
Imagine
burger
the
and fries.
scene.
I mean, I feel like there is a 50-50 chance on whether this is Roger Penske's signature pizza or like some, random dude called RP that worked at the restaurant when it started. It was racing themed. Like, had I been at, some random seafood restaurant and there was RP's something, I wouldn't have thought that it was Roger Penske, but it being, a racing themed restaurant, I feel like there's a chance,
Yep,
And
never
then,
coincidence, perhaps.
yeah, exactly. And then while I was walking around, one of my buddies from PPM was like, you should get Skittles and bring them to the track and like give them to everybody. I was like, okay. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble for giving everybody Skittles. And he's like, no, just like go get Skittles and give them to people. He actually told me to walk around and be like, taste the rainbow and hand Skittles to people. And I'm like, I'm not doing that,
No.
bro. Like, that's
What in the
really
Jeff
random.
Gordon?
Right? But what I did do was go buy this bag of, red Starbursts, berry Skittles, normal Starbursts, and normal Skittles, and then I got rid of everything except the normal Skittles. So they were the only, like, Halloween candy-sized Skittles that I could find. But yes, got those, brought them to the track.
No, see, I think it would have
day.
been funnier if you just went up to people and were like, here's a handful of
Yeah, I don't think that would go over very well. Like, I might throw the Skittles back at the person if someone handed me Skittles out of their, like, pocket. Like, just free-floating Skittles.
Free-floating Skittle.
Exactly. Free-floating Skittles. But then, let's see. Friday, I got to the track, and actually, Friday before I went to the track, because, like, nothing was going on the track until, like, 3-something, but I was like, you know, I'm sure everybody's going to be there earlier. I'll try to get there around 10. So I decided to get up and go into Monterey and get breakfast. While I was wandering around, I saw that there was a crepes place. And I was like, oh, crepes place. Nice. I must go get a crepe. Which I did. And I mean, it was actually my favorite place that I went to while I was there because they just left me alone. Like, every other restaurant, they obviously know everybody in town is a tourist, right? Like, absolutely. So they're trying to, like, be the best version of their restaurant they can and the best wait staff they can. And they're just so, hey, I noticed you drank a tiny bit of your water. Here, let me pour you some more. And it's like, I'm just trying to sit here and scroll on Twitter or Instagram and eat my food in peace. Like, I'm keeping an eye on the other tables. I'm not going to sit there and, like, occupy a table when there's people waiting. But, like, if I'm tucked away in a corner and there's 6 other empty tables, like, if you're coming back and checking on me every 3 seconds, I'm going to assume you don't want me in your restaurant anymore. And you're trying to hurry me along. But this crepes place, it was called, like, Crepes of Brittany or something. And it was great. I went there, they brought my crepe to me, I ate my crepe, I sat there in peace. Didn't see, I was worried about going in town to eat that I was gonna, like, run into people. There were, like, 3 people from, like, a couple different teams total that I saw, and they, like, came in, got their whatever they were getting, and, like, left. So I don't know if they were just, like, going to eat it to go or whatever, but there were very few people there, so that was really awesome, because that's, like, I just wanted to eat a crepe. Like, I can see everybody that I intend to see at the track. I actually don't want to see people away from the track, quite frankly, because there's no reason to. That's my downtime, that's their downtime. Like, even if I did see anybody, I'm not gonna go, like, try to ask them my interview question on the streets of Monterey. Like, I'm going to pretty much ignore their existence if I see them.
Like, I have drivers who live in the same city as I do. I don't want to be running into them just willy-nilly out for, like,
Exactly.
coffee.
And if you do, you're going to ignore them like any other stranger, because ultimately they are a stranger.
Yes.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
like, Dudu Barrichello lives near you. If you ran into him at Publix, you're not gonna do anything. You're just gonna pass in the aisle, you know?
I'd like look at him to be like, okay, that is who I think it is, and then just
Yeah.
keep walking
Right,
in Publix.
exactly. Like,
More
yeah,
so because I'm like, why would we be at the same Publix?
that's one of the things that I honestly do like about IMSA is it's low key. Like I didn't see any drivers when I was in Monterey. But B, like, I didn't see anybody that looked like they were looking for drivers.
For Miami, like McLaren, for example, for their IndyCar team we have a truck, but we're not going to tell you where the truck is, so like come hunt us down in Miami.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Which that's fun because it's like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're a local, you're like, oh, I recognize that tree in the background of this video. It's like the giveaways that the teams do at IMS, where it's like, if you know that track really well, you're like, I recognize that patch of dirt. I know where they are. And then you go and get the cool, like, sticker pack or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was I did that Friday and Saturday, but yeah, Friday, really good crepes of Brittany, recommend them if you go to Monterey. Not an ad, but then I went.
I am mentally noting all the suggestions. Go to Monterey and enjoy the sights.
Yes, exactly.
And if you have time,
100%.
go to the aquarium. It's really good as well.
Nice. And then, so when I got to the track, I was just kind of like walking around, and they were apparently, PPM was doing some sort of press thingy, because they had the cars out, they had the safety car, they had the GMG car from a couple of years ago, and then they had the recreation of the original Apple car. And they were like doing, I guess it's all those pictures that they have posted where like the safety car's driving with the 963 or the 963 is driving with the original Apple car. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I guess that's when they took those. I'm not sure. I do know that Kevin Estra has aspirations to be a safety car driver because he was very excited that he was going to be driving the safety car for this photo shoot.
Okay, but like, I don't blame him. Driving the safety car sounds fun.
I tried to see if I could like ride along for said photo shoot because the safety car has a passenger seat, and he was like, I don't care, but you would have to ask the team, which I was not going to ask the team because they're doing a photo shoot. They're not going to bring me along. But I just liked how that was his answer. But before the drivers showed up, those cars were all just sitting there for a really long time, so I took like a billion super up close, no one else around pictures of the six, which was awesome. That was also when I gave away my first Skittles. There were two of the Car 6 crew guys that I know there, and including the one who told me to bring the Skittles. So I gave them the Skittles.
It's hilarious.
Yes. But Skittles, obviously I had them. Wow, this is not working very well with my ring light thing. But yeah, I took the picture of the Skittles with the car. But I mean, I feel like everybody has given their opinion on the fact that Porsche's been doing all these special liveries and there's not actually much to say. But this one was just a fun special livery.
I liked it.
It was my favorite of all the ones they've done for
I was gonna
obvious
say,
reasons.
it was my favorite also for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I think that it looked, of the three they've done, it looked the most distinctive on the track.
It also, at least to me, felt like the most put together. Like it felt like the most complete, like, concept.
Because it was a
to
true
product.
throwback.
Yeah.
And it was a true throwback. It wasn't like, yes, to some extent, the Sebring one was a throwback to that 1996 livery that nobody has seen because everyone talks about the 1998 livery when they talk about the Mobile One livery.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Like,
Yep.
I feel like nobody even was thinking that 96 livery when it seemed like they were going to do a Mobile One thing.
I feel like I saw one person mention it.
Yeah. And it was like, I think I saw it get mentioned a couple times, like once or twice, but it was the people that were like, well, it could be this one, it could be this one.
Yeah.
They went through and did every Mobile One livery that exists on Trading Paints. They did every Mobile One livery that exists, like, that Porsche has ever run. And it's like, well, yes, if you literally give us every option, one of them will be correct.
Yeah, it was, I feel like all of the times I saw it, it was like, here's a compilation of all the Mobile One liveries that have been done by Porsche.
Right. But, like, this one was so these are the stickers, but, like, that's the original one, and then that's what Porsche did, and then, like, side view, that's what Porsche did, so, like, they stayed incredibly authentic to the original livery. Which, like, does the Sebring one have the original car on it? No, see, like, even the Sebring one has the 98 livery on it. Like, they don't even have the livery they threw back to. Which I think that's what annoys me still about the Sebring one, is they didn't even, like, use the, in my opinion, quote-unquote, right livery. I get it, because that would have been... People already don't like how white the cars are. That would have been an almost all-white car, and there would have been very minimal differentiation between the 6 and the 7. Like, people's main complaint with Long Beach was, like, you know, the only difference on these cars was the fin and the wing.
Yeah.
Everything else was the same, and everything else was white.
My issue with Long Beach was that it was, like, too close to what we get. Like, it's just a lot of white and a little bit of red and black, and the only main difference was, like, we threw in a little bit of pink.
I think that and this is just me guessing, I think what Porsche was trying to do was, like, give the vibes of the 919.
Which is what it seems like. It was just...
It feels like there are 919 vibes to it, like, you know, just like the black and red stripes and stuff. It just feels a little 919-ish, but it wasn't like a throwback. Like, if we're gonna do a 919 throwback, I want a full-on 919 throwback.
That was my issue with it. Was it, like...
Yeah.
It was almost like we're gonna give a sprinkle of 919 in this livery, but not commit to it. And it's like, I want you to commit.
And that was my thought until I saw the two side by side. And then you can see Apple said, we're doing this rainbow car. Okay, let's do Apple Music and change only the coloring. Because all of the designs on the car are exactly the same. Like, the rainbows in front of the openings on the top of the wheel wells, the angly stripes on the fin, they're all there, they're all the same. The only thing is they moved the stripe, they moved it onto the hood from the roof. But other than that, it was, like, the same livery, and I think that was probably some of people's issue, is they looked at it and they were like, this feels like it's almost there as an Apple throwback livery, but the colors are wrong. Without realizing that the next race, and it feels like maybe PPM should have announced, like, the 2-race collaboration at once. I feel like I started seeing unofficial media, like, you know, a couple of the insider accounts on Twitter saying, oh, this is gonna be 2 races with Apple. right after Long Beach. Maybe PPM should have announced that before Long Beach. It would have gotten people. But then I worry that people would have been like, well, why aren't they running full on Apple, the Apple throwback at both races? Well, why would?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know.
There's no winning. There's
no winning, but like I
No.
do see how maybe announcing them together could have worked, but I also see how it could have backfired too. It's just one
Right.
of those things where the Long Beach one almost felt like it was like we're combining the 919 and an Apple throwback into one, and I think that was like what was confusing.
The thing is, it doesn't need, like, it not. Obviously, we throw out random ideas and stuff. What bothered me was people online acting like they knew what it was supposed to be, when in reality, it sounds like Apple said, this is what we want the car to look like. I think that the 919 stuff was actually coincidental, and I think it may be us as hardcore Porsche fans projecting something. Like, you look in the trees and you see a face kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm just talking purely off vibes. Like, it
I agree.
combines the vibes of the 919 and Apple.
100%. I guess what I was trying to say is you saw it too, because you sent it to people that went online and they were like, this is what Porsche did, and acted like they were speaking with authority, and it's like, Porsche hasn't said that. Like, they're not calling this a 919 throwback. Yes, everyone at the track that I talked to agreed it gave 919 vibes. Me and you talked about that.
Yeah, I sent it to be like, now that people are pointing it out,
yeah,
I see the resemblance.
yes.
But like when it was first announced, that didn't even like cross my mind.
Same
Honestly,
So
when
people
it
were
was-
like 919 look alike, and I was like, I can see where you're coming from.
When it was announced, I didn't think that it was trying to look like this. I didn't think that it was trying to look like the 919. I thought it was just a special livery. Like,
Yeah.
I think that people really just cannot be pleased with what PPM's doing, because it's like, the main complaint in IMSA has been, all of 23, 24, and 25, you did 0 special liveries. We saw the same exact car, the red and white and black car, for 3 years in a row. And now they've done 3 of the first 4 races with a special livery, and people are complaining about the special liveries. Like, guys, do you want them to do stuff or not? Because let me tell you, they see what you say online. If everybody keeps on crapping on these special liveries, they may have more planned, and they may scrap them because they think that the fans don't like them and they want to see the standard car. Like, so I think that the response to this Apple one was fantastic. I don't think that we have any fear of them being like, oh, people hate our special liveries, but the Sebring one and the Long Beach one, people hated on those, and, let me tell you, PPM is aware that people hated on those.
I will say,
yes, exactly.
But look, have I said I am one of the people that's tired of the white? Yes. I think the white, though, worked for this one because for the throwback, it's white. So you needed the white.
The original car was white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My issue is more so with the other ones. The last Long Beach wasn't really a throwback. So it was just like, okay, we're just doing a lot of white.
Doing a livery. Right, it's just a collab. Like, it's no different than the orange and blue 76 gas stations thing that...
The many numbers MSR car.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The Ranger and Nick car. The 93. I literally couldn't remember the number of that car.
Because it has 3 numbers on it right now.
I know. But like, that, nobody says, oh my god, that's a bad attempt at a throwback, or that's, like, it's just a brand collab. places can do brand collabs without it having to be some historic throwback to the brand. You know?
Exactly.
If
Exactly.
Porsche wants to partner with Publix and run
Be
a
here for
freaking
that.
green and white car, like, that does not need to be some historic green and white car. It does not need to be like Rexy Goes GTP, like,
Okay,
and that's what people are going to want and expect, is like something, some grandiose thing. Just, you can do a brand collab without it being a throwback.
but if Eddie Porsche did a brand collab with Publix, it should be Rexy,
It
and
should be Rexy.
he should be holding a Publix grocery bag.
Yeah, no, that would, Gunnar, PJ, we have ideas for you. Normally we are offering our advice to PPM, but not that Gunnar and PJ need any marketing advice from us, but
No, I don't
brand
think so.
collab with Publix would be awesome.
I'm
quite
just
frankly.
saying, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
And you can go to the deli to get the hot dogs for the hot dog roller. Look,
Yes.
there's ideas here. I'm wearing AO merch, so it's relevant.
Like, Publix's logo really does go
Yes.
quite well
Exactly.
with AO's color branding. Like, for whatever reason, that came into my mind as like a random brand, and then I was like, you know what, that would actually work. But again, if PPM did it and they were going to do like a Publix branded 963 as a brand collab for Petite or something, people are going to be like, oh, why didn't they do this as a throwback to, I can't even think of it, Aries. Green
What's
and white Porsche historic livery. I
Yeah.
can't think of
Exactly.
any.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was
Okay.
trying to
So
think of green.
Why isn't this a Tic Tac livery throwback?
Well,
this is awful.
isn't
Why is
there-
Porsche doing all white again? Blah blah blah
Isn't
blah
there
blah.
a
Like,
green? Isn't there a green and white Salzburg one as well?
yes,
Yes.
yes, there is. So they could do the standard livery in green and white with, since technically the standard livery is a Salzburg throwback.
Yeah.
They could just turn it green and white and put the,
Publix.
because I feel like Salzburg, they have like multiple colors in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Like, I think everybody thinks of the red, but I think they did blue. I think they did green.
Yeah, there's blue and green that I remember.
But
Yeah, let's see
no, like, it frustrates me that a brand really is stepping out of their comfort zone. Obviously, having run 3 full years in 2 series and doing one single special livery across 3 years in 2 series. And now they've done 3 and 4 races and people are still complaining online. That's a great way to ensure they never do a special livery again. You know? It's just like, take what you're given. Like, they're doing something really cool and really unique this year. If you don't like Porsche, okay, cool. But these are Porsche fanboys that are complaining about this stuff. And it frustrates me because, like I said, the team sees it.
My thing is
They-
also, like, you can complain about it once. Like, that's one thing I'll do, is I'll, like, give my
Right.
initial review of liveries, which I don't do that just for Porsche. I do that for every team. of
Everything.
what I
Yeah.
think their liveries look like. And then I don't talk about it again. These people, my issue with it is they're, like,
Daily.
continuously talking.
Yes. There are people still complaining about Long Beach.
Oh god,
That was like 2.5
ages
weeks
ago.
ago.
Let it die.
Like, oh my.
Let it go, people.
Yeah. So, after I went and looked at the car and it looked all pretty and Kevin wasn't able to give me a ride in the safety car, I went and just kind of walked around and did my quick little interviews. My question for this race was, what's your opinion on roller coasters? I was originally going to ask, like, do you like roller coasters, yes or no? But that was, like, I was worried I was just going to get yes. So it was like, how do you feel about roller coasters? and I got some answers that I was not expecting, and also, like, some advertisements for roller coaster places,
So-
Drees and Felipe.
I was gonna say, Disney, you might want to get into contact with Felipe Nasser, because he did a whole ad for you.
Yes. And so Felipe, actually, this is a hilarious story, because after we stopped recording, he was like, "Did you go to Disney, like, in between the races?" And I'm like, "Felipe, I went home in between the races." And he's like, "Why did you do that?" I said, "Well, because I have a job." And he said, "Well, I have a job too. I guess they're different jobs."
Slightly different.
Yes,
Felipe.
Yes! Yes, Felipe, I think you and I have slightly different jobs. I sit at a desk in a cubicle. You drive a race car. Slightly different jobs, but that was hilarious. Like, he so wanted me to have gone to Disney. But no, I was really surprised how many drivers had the same answer, that they don't like roller coasters because they're not in control. They love the speed, they love the adrenaline, but they love that when they are driving a car, when they're holding the steering wheel. When it's a roller coaster and they have no sense of control, they hate it.
It doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
I was gonna say, it makes sense to me. Like,
no, it makes total sense. I didn't expect it to be so overwhelmingly. Like, so many of them said that. I thought, like, maybe one or two drivers would say that, and the rest of them would be like, "Yeah, I love roller coasters." I feel bad for Kevin Estra's son when he's
Yeah.
old enough to go on roller coasters, because that didn't sound like Kevin was giving him an option. It was like, when my son's old enough, we are going on roller coasters.
So, I used to work
Okay,
at
Kevin.
a roller coaster park, and I used to see the parents that were like, "My kid is finally tall enough, I'm making them go on this ride," versus the parents that were like, "This is my kid who, like, is finally of height and they want to go on the ride." And there's a drastic difference there.
Yeah.
And Kevin, I feel like, is definitely falling into the category of the parent that's making their kid go.
His kid seems to do crazy action
Yes.
sports, so he may want to go on roller coasters.
He may, but the way Kevin said it in that interview made it sound like he is the parent who's like, "I'm making this kid," when they're tall enough.
Exactly.
I'll take a no for an answer.
Exactly.
I do need to give Kevin, as well as Tom Blomqvist and Earl Bamber, a shout out, because I, like, ran into them while they were on their way to go do something, and it was like one of those, "Hey, I need to run in and do this really, really quick." Like, Earl had to go set up the mirrors in the caddy. Like, sit in the seat and be like, "Okay, adjust this mirror in, adjust this mirror in." So
I thought
that
you meant
could
mirrors
see
in the hauler. I was very
Nope.
confused.
Mirrors in the caddy. And Kevin had to go do a social media video, and Tom had to go do, like, a very quick driver change, like, not the 30-minute in and out, in and out. It was like him in once, Colin in once, him in once, Colin in once, and then he came back. And all three of them came immediately back over. It wasn't like, you know, "Oh, yeah, oh, sorry, I forgot about you, but you're still here." It was like, "Okay, let's go do that interview now." So that's really awesome to me. Now, like, those are three guys that have been, like, I think Tom's been in 3 of the 4 videos. Earl's been in 3 of the 4 videos, and I think Kevin also. I think Felipe may be the only person that's been in all 4 videos. But he really likes being in my silly videos, so, like, I'm gonna keep having him in. Like, he literally was like, "So what's the question this time?" Like, he knows what I'm going to do. Again, like, people expect me to hate Felipe Nasser. Yes, I'm not a fan of what he did at Sebring, but I have liked that guy as a driver for over a decade. You know? It's just, yeah, I can disagree with a move he made on track, and that's not going to overwhelm the dozens of fantastic interactions that I've had with him, you know?
Yes.
And then I would say, and do you guys agree the Chris story is probably the most ridiculous, wild story of the weekend?
I'm sure. Oh, that one. Yes.
So, like, friend of all three of ours, Chris, he was on a little weekend vacation in Leon this past weekend. Kevin Estra is from Leon, and he asked me if I could ask Kevin for food recommendations.
I mean,
So,
valid.
no, totally valid. Like, if I knew someone that knew a driver that I liked to the point where, like, I thought they could comfortably ask that question, I would ask them to do that as well. If I was going to be in, like, a town that was relevant to that driver. So, I go up and I ask Kevin, and I'm like, explain the whole thing. Yeah, my friend Chris is on vacation in Leon. He just wanted a restaurant he should check out while he was there. And Kevin was like, I haven't really been to Leon in a while. I don't know that this place I'm going to tell you is still open. And then he's like, okay, so it's called blah, 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 blah in French. And it's like here. And I'm like, Kevin, I really appreciate that answer. Here. Type it into my phone. So he types it all into my phone, and then he kind of looks over at me, and I'm like, go ahead and send it. So he sends the message. So our friend Chris got a Twitter DM from my account that was typed by Kevin Estra. So, like, I feel like that is just possibly one of the most ridiculous things that's ever done, like, that I've ever done at a track.
That's a story of all
It's
time.
it's about as good as getting Lauren and Kevin to take pictures of me holding their helmets, but in some ways this is better because it's not just about me. Like, I got Kevin to send Chris a message.
Yeah.
And I always say that, like, if I can, I love bringing other people joy when I'm at a track. Like, that's why I get people to record videos for my friends. Like,
Oh,
Aries
you don't say.
knows all about this.
You don't say.
You've been the victim of that many
You
a
have
time.
you
Many
were
times.
literally the Arthur one. You were literally the victim because I didn't give you a heads up on that.
No.
It was just Aries.
It was just collective screaming for me in the chat, and then I was freaking out when I saw what it was.
In defense, the Arthur one, it was literally we got stuck in the LMP2 line. So
yes.
it was like,
I wasn't planning on having Arthur make a video. He was just there, and we were there, and
yeah,
as opposed to the Elio one, we waited around for like 40 minutes for Elio to do a TV piece.
But it also was like, in that situation, we were going to be standing there kind of like, no matter what.
Exactly.
So he just like happened to be in the same pot we were standing.
Came up with that idea. Like, we kind of looked at each other and were like, should we do this? Should we do this? Because that was like still relatively early on when I was making these little videos for people. Now I feel like everybody that wants a video has gotten a video. If you listen and you would like me to get a video of your driver saying hi to you, message us with your name and which driver you would like. My next race will have IMSA and IndyCar at it, so yes.
Double opportunity.
Please do not make me get 15 different videos of Kevin Estra saying hi to people. He will get annoyed with that. But, let's see what else happened. Oh, yes! Laguna Seca, the track. Holy crap. That is a beautiful track. The scenery is insane. I went over to the corkscrew for first practice just because I wanted to see the cars going through it. Like, all you need to do is, like, start at one point and just keep like taking one step and then look, and then one step and then look, and it's a totally different angle each time. It was incredible. And just like I could have stayed there the whole weekend and just watched from there. I ended up going around I basically walked the entire track because, again, like, even just, oh, there's cars going down a straight. There's cars going down a straight with the most gorgeous scenery of, like, green mountains in the background that you ever, I think, like, you may have seen the thing that I did, I think it was on Instagram, where it was like, you're looking at pretty mountains, boom, racetrack. And that was just me zooming out from 15 times to one time on my phone. It's insane how beautiful Laguna Seca is. And I see why the people, like developers and stuff around there, are like, we want to put houses here, but we don't like racetrack. Too bad the racetrack was there before you.
Yes.
Yeah, get out. Leave us alone.
It's one of
Find some other place. Bye.
Go somewhere else. But
definitely it is so beautiful.
It's definitely one of those tracks that I like. It's on my list to go eventually, just because of how pretty it is.
I would say move it as high up your list as you can, because it's a phenomenal track. Monterey is phenomenal. Everything about it's one of the best overall weekends, honestly. Like, overall experiences that I can think of. So if, like it's somewhere on my I would like to do it eventually list, do it. Do it as soon as you can, because I'm not sure how long they're going to be able to fight off these developers. So you want to go while, it's one of those things, like, people, I wish they'd bring back the longer race. Well, the longer race is never coming back. And I wouldn't be shocked if this didn't become a shorter race in the future. I mean, 100-minute race around Laguna Seca would be criminal. But if it's what all the surrounding landowners demand, to not, start trying to file to get the track shut down, who knows, it may happen. And then, I mean, I guess kind of talking about the corkscrew, late Friday, early Saturday, the world got the news that Alex Zanardi had passed away. Obviously, I'm a big Ganassi fan, so he's got an extra special place for me as a, amazing, legendary driver for Chip Ganassi Racing. Being at Laguna Seca, where I would say Alex's pass on Brian Herta is the most famous thing that's ever happened at Laguna Seca. Being there and having, like, just been at the corkscrew, because that's obviously what I spent Friday, was being at the corkscrew and thinking about that, right? Like, wow, like, what? Because there was a car that accidentally did what he, like, just missed the turn and went over the gravel, one of the GT cars, and I thought to myself, like, it's wild that Zanardi did that on purpose. And then, that evening, finding out that he had passed away was just like, it was a very surreal experience being at Laguna Seca on this weekend. The track, the PA people did an amazing job memorializing him. I think I heard more people, both, like, on the various race calls and just walking around the track, saying this needs to be renamed the Zanardi Corkscrew. I don't know that it ever will be, but I think in everybody's hearts, it already is. That's Alex Zanardi's corner. The track or somebody put a banner up at the corkscrew on Saturday, so that was good.
Yeah, I think for viewers too, we had a lot of coverage about it on, like, qualifying and then also the race coverage. One of the things I really liked was talking with Wiccans, who was there because they didn't know if DXDT was going to be able to
Yeah.
make it or not, and obviously they overall weren't able to make it, but he was still there for the weekend. They talked to him about his impact on his career, being able to get back into racing, and kind of how he helped him learn all about like the hand controls and really fight for the setup that Wiccans uses now. So like that was cool to even be able to like hear from Wiccans like Sonardi's impact on him and his whole story with him, and they did like a whole feature about that on race day too.
That's
which was
amazing.
really cool.
I'm gonna have to go watch that. I'm assuming it's probably on IMSA's YouTube.
I would assume so, but it was a really good like coverage of that specific thing, and it was like I had never really heard that story before, and it was like really interesting to hear like the whole story kind of Wiccan's like recovery and how much Sonardi actually had an impact in that.
Yeah. And then I mean just at the track Saturday, you know, that was kind of hanging over everything, but not in a everybody's walking around miserable kind of way. It was very much a celebration of everything that they said was very much a celebration of his life, not talking about his death. So that was great to me, because like the worst thing would have been if Saturday and Sunday were just everybody being miserable because somebody close to the series, close to the racing community, close to the track had passed away. Saturday was honestly, like, other than when they brought Alex up specifically, was a pretty normal day at the track. I did finally get another selfie with Lawrence Vantor. I have been saying for like a long time, since Daytona of 2025, that I keep on forgetting to get selfies with him. I would have forgotten again if he hadn't been giving me crap as he walked by, and then I remembered, oh, I'm supposed to try and get a selfie with him. He is honestly the funniest person. Like, I mean, I think we can all kind of tell that from online, but Larry is just hilarious. So I was like, okay, like told him we haven't gotten a selfie since Daytona, like 2025. I really should have more selfies with you, considering like that I'm supporting your car. So I go and take the selfie, and he makes a goofy face, and I'm like, okay, that was funny. That's the one I'm gonna post. But can we also get a normal one? Because like I would just like a normal one. So then he, you know, just did a normal smiling selfie. So that was cool. I don't have it over here, but my Saturday throwback shirt was this 9/11 RSR program shirt, and it had a car on it that had Tandy's name on it. So like I ran into Nick, and I was like, you know, just chatting with him, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to show you this shirt. And I like unzipped my jacket, and I kind of like held my shirt. He's like, I have one of those. Nick is so like Larry is intentionally hilarious. Nick Tandy is unintentionally hilarious.
So unintentionally.
He was like, you know, who else is on that shirt? And it was him, Matt, and Fred McVicky. And I was like, yep. And like he's like staring at the names, and I'm like, it's you, Matt, and Fred. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I couldn't remember who was in that shirt for that car. And like he's so funny. And then like a bunch of fans came up, and he was like, I'm sorry, I have little fans here, that they were like little kids that wanted to take like pictures and stuff. And I'm like, no problem, Nick. And so then but it was funny, like, and then in practice 2, Kevin crashed, because of course he did.
It's Kevin.
Yes. But they got the car all nice and fixed up for qualifying, and they qualified ahead of the 7, which I think with the way the BOP was, that's all that you really can ask for, is like not to qualify last and to qualify ahead of the sister car. So, yay. See, and then Sunday Sunday, I did not go into Monterey to get breakfast because it was icky out. It was like full on raining in the morning, and I was like, I don't want to go walk around Monterey in the rain and then be like damp all day from walking around in the rain.
Yeah, raining days are the perfect, if I want breakfast, I run through drive-through.
A drive-through. That's exactly what I did. I went to McDonald's and I went through the drive-through. And then I sat at the track and ate it because it was still raining and I was not going to wander around the track. And I could see, like, man, there is no one here, so I'm not worried about, like, the line for the autograph session, because the autograph session was, like, at 10:30. The rain finally cleared up at like 9:15, so like at 9:15 I went out and I started walking around, and I just like was wandering around looking at all the cars, looking at everything, and I'm like, there is nobody here for the autograph session. There was nobody there until all of a sudden there was people there. But only for PPM and AO.
Checks out.
They were the only teams with a proper line. They were at least on the opposite sides of the paddock, so that was kind of nice, but like, yeah, like every other team, you could just walk right up to their table. MSR had a little line right at the beginning because they were giving away those hats to the first 10 people or whatever, but like, as soon as I got through the PPM line, I went over to MSR because I thought, hey, maybe they'll have throwback cards or they'll have something. They ended up having buttons. So I got one of those, which was cool. At the PPM autograph session, I brought my Skittles and I gave them to the drivers. So I gave them to Felipe and Julian, and I kind of forgot to give them to Kevin and Larry, but on what was it, Friday, when I was hanging out at the Corkscrew, I took a picture of Kevin going through the Corkscrew, and one of our, again, all of our mutual friend, who I will just call Rotary Engine Apologist because they don't have a real name. They are just Rotary Engine Apologists.
Yes.
Turned it into artwork. And I went and got the signatures blend into the artwork, which I think is actually really cool, but I got Kevin and Larry to sign it. And they were like, did you draw that? And I'm like, no, I took the picture and then one of my friends drew it. And they were like, this is amazing. Like, they were blown away. So
from what we've learned, Kevin likes art.
Kevin does like art. But no, it was just like really cool. And then Larry, when I tell you stuff to tell Kevin, don't then tell Kevin when the three of us are all together and say, she told me to tell you. Because I told you, because I didn't want to tell Kevin. So after Kevin crashed, I got a whole bunch of messages. Tell Kevin to stop crashing. Tell Kevin to stop crashing. I'm not going to tell Kevin to stop crashing. Y'all can tag him on the social medias and tell him to stop crashing. However, I did tell Larry on Saturday to tell Kevin to stop crashing. Which Larry took the opportunity in the autograph line to turn to Kevin and be like, hey Kevin, you know, she told me to tell you to stop crashing. And Kevin was like, I crashed once. Okay, Kevin, but you still crashed.
That's still crashing.
Which he said that he crashed because he's too heavy, and that makes the car, which is already heavy, extra heavy. Kevin, you're only heavy because you're tall. Like, you are 6 inches taller than the rest of the drivers. Of course you weigh more than them. But then I remembered that I had forgotten to give them their Skittles and went back and gave them to them. And Larry had already stolen Julian's Skittles and was eating them.
Poor Julian.
And he was like, I was confused why you gave them Skittles and not us. And I'm like, I forgot because I was arguing with Kevin about his weight. It seems like a higher priority than Skittle giving. So then I gave them the Skittles, and Kevin again was like, I guess I'll have to eat these after the race. And it just makes me sad that the BOP weight is causing this, and I still don't think that driver ballast is the right thing to do,
Nope.
because I think it still causes drivers to lose weight. But I think so I don't think the 82 kilogram driver ballast is the right thing to do. I think like a 75 kilogram driver ballast might work. You literally take the average weight of all the drivers and set that as the ballast. You know, if it's a 70 kilogram driver ballast, 75, they'd still probably have to carry a tiny bit of ballast, but nobody's trying to lose massive amounts of weight with a 70 kilogram ballast, because it all kind of evens out, because that's kind of what everybody weighs. The problem with the 82 kilogram ballast, and we have gone on about this forever, is if you're gonna have a crap load of ballast, you want it to be equal for all the drivers. So then you end up having drivers in, like, for instance, the 6 last year, where there's a massive disparity between Kevin and Larry and then Matt and Larry. You're trying to get everyone to Larry's weight, which doesn't work. You know? And in this, in IMSA with no driver ballast, I mean, you're still trying to get Kevin to Larry's weight, which still isn't working. But it's unfortunate how heavy these cars have gotten so fast, because this wasn't an issue in 2023. This wasn't an issue in 2024, because these cars were running closer to 1030 than they were to 1100. So, you know, it's the fact that all of these cars are already running close to 1100, which is, you know, the maximum weight, but it's not. It's the maximum dry weight. So, that kind of upset me. And then after the race, I talked to Kevin, Larry, and Felipe. All three of them were understandably not happy. 6th and 7th, not a great result for the team. It is the most they could do, you know? Genuine. I think I commented that on all 4 of their Instagram posts, but it's also what I said to them in the moment. They drove those cars to the limit. They got everything out of those cars that they could. You know, when you are running a car that's that disadvantaged, you know, you're going to need something like, you know, a yellow to come out at exactly the right time to win a race. You know, you're going to need other cars to just drive themselves off the track to win a race. I think they did the absolute maximum they could. I obviously went to the podium to see Lauren on the podium. Absolutely insane final lap pass for the win by him. Everybody's like saying online, oh, this kid's the future of Porsche. He is not the future of Porsche. He was the future of Porsche 3 years ago. Like, I told him last year, you are the future of Porsche. And that was like right at the very end of him. He is the now of Porsche.
I feel like we can't be calling a works driver that's on PPM
exactly
the future of Porsche. But maybe that's
like,
just me.
Yes, okay, he doesn't have a full-time PPM seat, but he is still a works driver. He is the now of Porsche. You know, he is on, whether people want to say it or not, I'll say it. He's on Felipe and Kevin's level. You know, the reason they jumped out, you know, into 3rd place was because they didn't do a full service stop at the end. They did fuel only. He was able to nurse ancient tires through the end of that and race that competitively against what is undoubtedly the fastest car in IMSA right now, the V-Series R. And one of the best drivers in GTP, Earl Bamber. So what he did was truly unbelievable, you know? And it's like, you see people talk about various drivers, oh, I bought stock early. Well, every Porsche Junior, I feel like I bought stock early on them, because as soon as you get announced a Porsche Junior, I'm all in on your career. You know, Flint Schuring and Marcus Amand, like, I'm all in on their careers. I know very little about them, but I follow their results in every single race they do because they're a Porsche Junior.
I was about to say,
Lauren was like that too.
that's us with a bunch of just like random Porsche drivers.
Right, because we follow them from when they were a junior. Lauren, obviously, the return on investment for Porsche with him has been astronomical. I mean, he was only a junior a few years ago. I would say Earl Bamber is probably the only person that had better return on investment. He went from junior to Le Mans overall winner.
Yeah.
Within, a few months.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Lauren, went from his first GTP race he won was Daytona. So, like, pretty good.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Just
not his first race in a prototype, though.
Just not his first race. It could have been if it wasn't for his random WEC race. But
yeah, but no, I mean it was just awesome, and like Lauren also let me hold the trophy and we took a selfie. He actually seemed shocked that I waited around to see him. Like, everybody at PPM knows Kevin's my favorite. I don't think Lauren realizes how close he is of a second place. Like, I really don't. Like, I think he may actually think Larry is my second favorite driver, quite frankly.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And it's like, Lauren, you and Kevin were on the same level for the past several years because you were in different categories. Now that you're in the same category in the same series, it's really tough. Because genuinely, they were on the same level. Like, I supported Lauren just as intensely in Rexy as I did Kevin at PPM. But now that they're, direct competitors, yeah, it's a little weird, but it doesn't mean I suddenly don't like Lauren. So, yeah. And then after the race, there was really nothing to do. I said bye to all of my crew member friends and drove back to San Francisco and went to the Golden Gate Bridge because I had never been there. Travis had never been there, and he wanted me to take pictures, so I did that. And then I came home this morning.
It's one of those things where when I lived on the West Coast, surprisingly, never did that. Kind of regret it.
Yeah.
I feel like I went to LA a lot more than I went to, like, San Francisco.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you live in Southern California, I feel like going up to Northern California, especially when you're a child and don't really have the option of, this is where I'm going to go.
I mean, mine was, I lived in Vegas, which, not very kid-friendly city. LA is more kid-friendly, so my parents also my dad worked for Disney. So
I mean, driving from Vegas to LA is also pretty quick. Driving from Vegas to San Francisco is not a day trip.
It is not. But it's one of those things where I kind of regret that I haven't done that.
Yeah. Well, when you go, like I said...
Yes.
Put Laguna Seca higher up on your priorities list, and then go see the Golden Gate Bridge.
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Flag Pod. Nicole is at Nicole on Racing, Austin is at Austin Trackside, and Aries is at Aries_Alpenglow. Stay rainbow.